Finally back from a week hiatus. Zach couldn't make it here last week due to Hurricane Dorian, which thankfully for us Floridians ended up being pretty underwhelming, didn't really hit us at all, and I know that's not the case for the Bahamas and some of the surrounding islands, so our thoughts definitely go out with them. We open by telling tales of hurricanes past. That's something very communal for us Floridians to bond over, war stories if you want to call it that. We talk about Dave Chappelle's new Netflix special, controversial. I don't really think so. I mean, I'm not dumb. I can see why it sparked controversy amongst some certain media outlets, but Zach and I both fucking loved it, and we just go into everything that's surrounding that. And we reminisce on a trip to Iowa that we took where I got to interview Dr. Ben Carson, and again, it's one of those Zach and I making a shitty attempt at being political trips, but it was a lot of fun, and it was fun to reminisce on that kind of time. That was the first podcast he and I did together, and it's cool to be on this one talking about it, and it was awesome. So sorry for the week delay. We will be back on our regular, probably every 4 or 5 days, 2 episodes a week. I don't know why I try to make it complicated. That's going to be our upload schedule, but it's really just whenever we can fucking do it. So thank you guys for listening. Subscribe, Instagram, all that bullshit, and enjoy this episode. Fucking Hurricane Dorian.
Dude, what a waste of time.
I called you and told you this, and it was really a aha/duh type of moment where...
I'm not going to lie, dude. You're killing my vibe.
What?
When you were like, it's probably not going to come. Like, blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, you know. Remember when I told you, like, this is going to sound horrible because God bless the Bahamas. You know, I don't want anything like that to happen anywhere else or anything. But there's something about being a Floridian deep down that you're like, bring it on. You know?
There's no part of me that says bring it on because I hate being without power because I'm sweaty.
Right, but see, I don't know. I'm a little different. I just think there's some of us that look at it as an excuse to get out of work and to get out of school. Because I remember, I'll never forget, we missed like a week of school from 2004 when those hurricanes came through. We had to make that shit up, but no.
I don't remember having to make it up.
We had to make it up.
Did we? Okay.
I mean, we did. I don't know how it is in your county.
We missed 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like a long time.
Gene and Francis fucked us
and
on
Charlie.
My birthday. Charlie, we didn't have anything bad. You guys did.
Yeah. Well, I lived in Melbourne at the time.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, and they all came through the state, one after the other.
Very quick.
Mm-hmm.
That year, I'm pretty sure that they were contemplating, are we going to have to start counting hurricanes in like Roman names or Roman numerals? We went through the whole alphabet.
Yeah, because we had that many.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember what Z was, but all right, Charlie, like I said, in Ocala was not that bad. Rain, whatever. And Charlie was the one the media hyped up to be awful, which for some people it was.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are in Ocala, like, oh shit, here it comes. And we boarded our windows, did the whole 9, and nothing happened, which in turn made us leave our guard down for the Hurricane Francis and then Gene.
Right, and that one just sat on Florida forever.
Gene,
from what I remembered.
I'm pretty sure this was Gene. I was looking it up the other day. There was a hurricane, I'm almost positive, in that season that was moving, was turning up. They're like, oh, sweet. Oh, it's leaving. Came right back around.
I saw that.
I think that was Gene.
Yeah, I think so.
And Gene was the one we were, I shit you not, singing me happy birthday. This sounds like I'm making it up, and you can ask my mother, anybody. It is my hand to God, the truth. Happy birthday. Who's that? Oh, she's whatever. She went to Publix and got us really good popsicles.
Oh, cool.
Happy birthday, Mr. President Jared.
Happy birthday.
I don't know if it was right on cue with boom, but the power went out while we're singing happy birthday to me.
Oh, shit.
And it was an ice cream cake, and we had to eat the entire thing.
Yeah, because you can't save it now.
No, we had the generator, but the generator was to power. We wanted to save all the gas and power for my parents' bedroom, and we all camped out in there. We had a window unit, which really wasn't that bad. Window unit made it nice and cold.
Nice. I remember that was the first and only time I evacuated because during that year we were living with my grandparents and they didn't want to stay. And we went to Georgia for like 4 days or something for one of the storms, one of the ones that was going to come right through where we were. And we stayed at my Uncle Ernest's house, which is my late grandfather's brother. And he's, this old man, single, killing it, drives a Harley type uncle,
Fuck yeah.
And we went and chilled with him. And I remember when we went to go evacuate. This is back when I was keeping reptiles. My grandmother hated it.
Oh, and you had to move with them.
Dude, no. Well, this is the thing. So I had these snakes and in, cages, obviously, that I've had for a while. And one of them was the first pet snake I've ever had, and I still had it. Like I've been riding with this thing for like 5 years.
What's its name?
Clyde. Ended up being a female, had babies.
Damn.
And I wanted to bring them with me. I'm like, hey, just leave them here. Like what are we gonna do? Like, what if they escape? And they were like, no. And we left them. And
did that break your heart?
I was pissed. I mean, I got over it pretty quick, but we came back and they were fine.
Fuck that snake.
Yeah, like the house was fine. I mean, the screen was destroyed. But the snakes were still in their enclosures. And I'll never forget, too, one time the snake got out and my grandmother's patio, her house was brick and like the walls were brick on the patio. And I came and she like, a snake. And I went and I looked and he was like a staircase in the bricks. And it was like, damn, he got out. And it was the snake I had in the enclosure. It was funny. But anyway, so yeah, that was the year we evacuated. That was the only time I've ever evacuated for a storm.
Was that for all three or just for Charlie?
I think it was for whatever was the bad one at first. Or maybe, no, I don't think it was for Charlie because that's what hit Central Florida the worst from the west. And then it was the one that hit the east we left for because we weren't gone that long.
No.
And then we came back. But it was...
Charlie, there, North Captiva Island? Or
Captiva?
Captiva. Okay, it's down Sanibel. It's down past Tampa, but on the Gulf side. There was a whole little inlet of this, or a little portion of this island that they renamed Charlie's Cut because I guess it went right through there and the island is just gone.
Damn.
And there's like a sandbar there now. Like the island became a sandbar. And
Damn.
there's real cool. Yeah, what this did, I'm looking, is went up and around Florida and came in that way.
Yeah.
And went through, that's why it hit a bunch of stuff Gulf side.
You know what a hurricane that I feel like no one even remembers and like who got it bad was Michael last year.
Matthew.
No.
Michael?
See, exactly. Look it up. Hurricane Michael hit the Panhandle last year, destroyed Mexico City. Category 5.
Hurricane Michael. Well, when was Matthew?
The year before. Irma. It was Matthew.
You said it destroyed Mexico City?
In Florida or whatever. Yeah, Mexico or...
Is there a Mexico City,
I'm
Florida?
pretty sure. Yeah, dude. Type in
Is a
hurricane.
category? It went in and fucked the Panhandle. You're right. But...
Mexico City, Florida.
That's a real...
Yep.
Oh, Mexico Beach.
Mexico Beach.
Oh, I didn't...
Yeah, Mexico Beach, whatever. Mexico Beach is a city in Bay County. Yeah, they got leveled, bro. But I feel like everyone forgot about Hurricane Michael.
I don't remember that.
Dude, because it formed in like 4 days, and it turned into a 5, destroyed the Panhandle.
And it fucked up Tallahassee.
And yeah. So, because this is the...
I'm remembering
this is
now.
the recent timeline. We had Matthew in 2015. That was going to be how Dorian did. Same path, was going to hit the East Coast last second.
Matthew was 2015.
2015.
Are you sure about this?
I'm positive.
I mean, keep talking.
Or no, 2016. I'm sorry. 2016. I'm pretty sure. It's 2016.
You're right.
2016, then Irma, 2017.
You're
nailed
right.
the Keys, came up the middle. Weak by the time it got to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then Irma was the same year we had Harvey and Maria. Killed the Puerto Rico. Harvey destroyed Houston.
Right.
And then we're now in last year, which was Michael. That was the only one that affected Florida.
Okay.
And then now we have Dorian, who is just a straight up joke of it wasn't a joke of a storm, but it teased Florida. It literally just parked itself next to us, battered the Bahamas, literally didn't move, stationary. And I remember everyone's freaking out. I was an amateur meteorologist at this point. I was checking every second. Me and Sky were like, any updates? I'm like, all right, so this is a couple of things that could happen. It could do an eye wall reconstruction. That's what's going on right now. It's breaking up, as you can tell from the imaging and the radar, and it's going to reconstruct that inner wall, either strengthen or weaken. But if it weakens, the wind span of the field is going to increase, therefore giving us a better chance of experiencing some tropical storm winds. I'm going for that because I want to at least do this all for nothing, So I'm hoping it gets a little bit bigger, maybe be a 3, move up the coast. We get some winds, maybe a little bit of rain. And we got some winds, and we lived on the second floor. It howled. It howled a little bit. The rain was mediocre. No flooding happened where we were at, even in Melbourne, because this time Dorian's eye was way more off the coast than Matthew. Matthew was closer because I was there for Matthew, and the water almost came through our front door when I was with my dad at their house. And then Irma, was weak. And then Gatorland had like some fallen trees and there was some debris. And the only reason we closed is because the water didn't work. And then Dorian, but the Carolinas got it. You saw that? They got a little bit.
Nova Scotia got it a little bit.
Yeah. Up there.
I think
right
it was
now.
just a tropical storm by then.
Yeah, but it's like nothing now. But yeah, everyone got rain. Like it literally was just like, might head this way.
You describing the prediction of Dorian's path was a great sales pitch for you being on the spectrum.
Nah, dude. I mean, it's just storms fascinate me. Like, and being, I'm surprised they don't fascinate you more being a Floridian, I think that this is when my fascination peaked when it's sunny the next day after Dorian and the wind and where it was like all the way up by Georgia at this point. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, it's windy because of that storm still. Like, that's magnificent. That, like, the power.
A storm that's 90 miles off our coast.
The power of something like this.
And we are about 90 miles inland.
And it's gone. The sun's out, but the reason it's windy and gusty is because the remnants of Dorian's path. I think that's cool.
It's interesting. I mean, hurricanes are probably the most, I don't know if you'd say pound for pound, most vicious form of Mother Nature, because I think of tornadoes, and tornadoes are just vicious for a minute.
And in a very concentrated spot.
Right. A tornado could go down the next street and we're fine.
Right. Like, you might be hearing it. It'll probably be loud, but like...
Windows would shake, stuff would go flying. But as far as our stuff getting picked up and taken in...
It's got to get right up on you.
Right.
Unless the tornado is just massive, like an F5, where they're like those big fat ones.
The concept of an F5 or a Category 5 when I was a kid used to terrify me.
I know. I used to think there was a Category 6 for some reason. I didn't realize 5 was the highest number.
That sounds like an awful B movie. Category 6.
I know.
This one means business.
Did you see that thing where it said Trump was like, I've never even heard of a Category 5 before. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Did he really say that?
Yeah,
oh,
he did.
My Lord.
And then they were like, the article was obviously trying to get him. It was funny. They're like, yeah, but last year we had 2 Category 5s, Irma and Maria. I was like, that is hilarious.
He apparently said the most accurate prediction we have is it's going to go and hit Alabama, and showed a clip from the White House radar where it shows all the available predictions, and there's one that so clearly looks like a Sharpie that he just went... And I think the White House, they asked him to comment, and they're like, we cannot confirm or deny if he made this prediction.
Oh, my God. That's so funny, dude. Well, I tell you what, it didn't go to Alabama, so no. He was wrong.
Just the fear-mongering that the news sells. I always knew, and people always say, "Oh, the media just blows it out of proportion," and it's a famous thing to say, which I believe.
Oh,
is
they
like,
definitely did.
when you freak out about it, nothing happens, and when you're too casual, something happens, which has happened to us. That happened to us in 2004. But it finally dawned on me, and whenever I tell this to people, they're like, "Yeah, man, duh," but I don't think we really think about it in these terms. They just want you to stay on their channel and on their website so they can sell advertising money.
And it works because people are glued. I went to the live stream on YouTube and it showed how many people were watching. 10,000.
At a random time in the day.
Watching a storm move in a circle and go nowhere.
All the stores here would close where my wife works. Everyone was like, "We don't want to come," and it's sunny out.
I know.
Like, "We don't want to come in." It's like, dude, come on.
It's not going to just appear.
No, school was out. And should you take those precautions? I guess so. I mean, because if you don't and then it hits, you're kind of fucked. And what's crazy about how the news and all these meteorologists, excuse me. There's certain factors like whatever bullshit you were talking about earlier in the pressures and where it's going to go. But in the matter of 2 days, they had it going from over here and crashing right into Ocala to then moving down on the Bahamas. Then they had it sweeping across South Florida. Then they had it, it's gonna shave the coast. Melbourne and stuff would have been, because you guys are Atlantic side.
Yeah,
Right.
Melbourne is. Mm-hmm.
And then
At one point, it was a direct hit in Brevard County.
Yes.
Coming across.
Yes. And the fact that they take the liberties to, I don't believe they're necessarily trying to help or warn a lot of the times. You realize every single path they come up with before they can really predict what it's doing is ultimate destruction. And all the headlines are devastating.
And
Evacuate now, state of emergency.
And they always have their backup ones that show it could do the other, but
Yeah.
they're like, throw a couple in there that like...
Well, then they make those bold.
Yeah, they make those bold, and like there's one that like goes off to the side, like that's a possibility, but take a look at what's going on here. And then at the last second, when they can actually really know what's going to happen, and they still like, dude, you know who fear-mongered the most? Because I would read the articles. I'd look it up like Hurricane Dorian on Google just to see what's going on, any updates. The Orlando Sentinel, man, shame on you. You
hear that?
They every time all they would do is take the same headline. They left it the same, but they would modify the article. And
CNN did the same thing.
yeah, all they would do is modify the article very subtly. So they kept that like Dorian's path shifts away from, Orlando out of the cone, but Dorian's path still could make landfall. It's always still could do this though.
Might possibly.
And it's just like out of the cone, but it could veer. And then they finally got to the point where it pretty much wasn't going to make landfall. And this is their last string that they could hold on to put fear into you was any slight deviation to the west. And this could be bad news for like Jacksonville. Any slight deviation to the west. And it's like, it's clearly they're all going up at this point. And I'm just like, damn, y'all still holding on. It's like the storm's like midway past Florida. Any slight deviation to the west, it could loop back around. Like it's like, and then they finally have to be like, it's the good news for Florida, but any slight deviation to the left. And I'm like, did you see the Shepard Smith? Did I show you that?
No.
You haven't seen this?
No.
With Hurricane Matthew?
No. Pull it up.
You want to watch the funniest thing you're ever going to see in your
Yeah, I'll put it
life?
on the...
Oh my God.
I'll edit it in post.
You want to see the best fear-mongering of all time? This.
Shep Smith, closet homosexual?
Yeah, no, I think he's out.
I don't think he's out. If he wants his Fox News job.
All right, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
See this? Melbourne, Daytona Beach, all the way up to Jacksonville. This moves 20 miles to the west, and you and everyone you know are dead. All of you. Because you can't survive it. It's not possible unless you're very, very lucky. And your kids die too.
Did that air?
Live television. He's live every night.
Is that a joke?
2.3 million views. Dude, there's videos of people covering that as a story.
What?
Dude, I love watching that. It's so funny because
That seems like an SNL skit.
I know. This moves 20 miles
What?
to the west. You and everyone you know are dead. You can't survive it. It's not possible unless you're very, very lucky. And your kids die too. I've memorized it. I'm going to use it as a monologue.
I was thinking that.
What are you going to say?
I'm speechless.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It's hilarious because that was Matthew. That was Hurricane Matthew. That's when I was still in Melbourne, and we hunkered down because we thought we were gonna get a direct hit for real at first, but then of course
Oh my lord!
I didn't that. That's I can see it now. Shep, listen, man. Look, we're a political station. All the news is this storm right now. We gotta get the rating, Shep. We got to get that rating. We got to get them in, okay? So here's what I need you to do, Shepard, tonight. You know, put a little bit of fear into your speech. You know how to do it.
You're a professional, Shep.
You've been a professional. We've had you for some years. You know, take that closet gayness and get all crazy with it. And literally, he's like, "Oh, I got you. I got you, Mr. Rails. I got you." This moves 20 miles to the west. You and everyone you know are dead.
Fucking dead.
You can't survive it. It's not possible. Oh, and your kids died too. How was that? Shep, dude, what the fuck, bro? We have to suspend you.
Did he get suspended?
No, I don't think he got suspended. Oh my God, it's rich.
Wow. People forget that the news is entertainment.
That was Fox. That did not help their case.
Man.
Speaking of Fox.
Okay.
Did you see the trailer for the new movie about Roger Ailes?
No.
Charlize Theron plays Megyn Kelly. Margot Robbie plays another anchor.
Oh, I heard about this. I didn't watch it.
Nicole Kidman, I think, is the other one. It plays who's the butch that wears the jacket with the
Maddow?
No, not Maddow. Gretchen Wilson. Gretchen.
This is Gretchen Wilson.
Yeah, coming to you live from DC.
She's hella Scientologist.
Oh, really?
Yes,
oh,
big
that's
time.
Funny. I did not know that. She's friends with Cruz?
I guess.
Probably. Well, let me tell you, the trailer or the teaser, I'm going to go see it.
Yeah,
It looks good. You got to watch it. They're just the whole teaser in an elevator. And it's silent. No words are spoken.
Does he grab someone's ass?
He's not in it. It's just the three girls. It's good. And Charlize Theron looks a lot like Megyn Kelly. They did it good. I don't know how they did it, but
she's excellent.
Oh, yeah.
That's a perfect casting because that's Fox News' whole formula is hire smoke shows to deliver the news.
I know.
Rogan has a whole bit about it. I don't want to copy it, but how essentially they're sitting like this, and he says they just have a vagina curtain, and they'll... Is that what you think, Senator Lipton?
You called repeatedly bimbos.
And that's the whole main reason, I think, why they had or have such a massive viewership, because they're
number one.
They've been number one for a long time.
Long time.
Now, is that because they're really the only mainstream conservative thing out there, and there's so many mainstream liberal outlets, or?
I think that's a part of it. But you know what's so funny? Like back in the day, because I grew up with my grandparents watching Fox News all the time.
Me too.
And I was just like, yeah, Hannity, whatever. And like sometimes they would switch the channel to Fox Business, like they really switched it up. Lou Dobbs.
What's going on in that?
Lou Dobbs here with you. He looked like a Lego. He looked like a Lego man who aged, and So I'm like watching it growing up, but then I like tune in it with my own formulated opinions, and I'm like, dude, Hannity's annoying, bro. I can't
Hannity's
stand
very
him.
annoying.
And I think Tucker Carlson is a great troll, but he's a dick.
Hannity is like always having to say he did something first. I was right about this. I said it 3 months ago. Pull up the clip.
Pull up the clip. You know, Mr. Trump, they just don't leave him alone. These liberals on Capitol Hill, what are they doing? It's just out of control. I was the first on this network, brought to you by me. We covered this here,
The Hannity
fair and
Network,
balanced.
Hannity.
And I'm just like, dude, you're so annoying now.
Does he still have his radio show?
Dude, yeah, I think he's still on.
He would come on after Rush, and that's when I knew
Yeah,
it was time to...
that's when he was trash, because he was the last one to go on the air. It was Beck, Rush, and then Hannity.
I had Laura Ingraham.
Oh,
Rush.
she's annoying.
Is she even on Fox anymore?
I don't know.
She stepped down from her radio show.
Oh, she did?
Maybe I got on the air with her. I
remember you called in or something?
I went through a phase where I was a big call-in guy.
Yeah, because you almost got into Rush at one point, right?
The story with that, I'm like burping. Oh, sorry. It is... There we go. It is impossible to get through to Rush Limbaugh.
It's like calling in to Howard Stern.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't have the what do they call his people?
The Whack Pack.
Whack Pack line. So there'd be many times where I didn't even have anything to say. I was like, I'll figure it out. Or I'll think about it while
Kind
I'm
of like when you
listening.
ask Carson a question. So how do I tell your information to my generation to make them, what's the word, care? It was great. It was on the spot. It was perfect.
I did that under pressure, pal.
I know.
And my biggest regret of 2016 is my question to Carly fucking Fiorina.
Dell? Or
No, I said, I don't remember my initial question. And then I was like, oh, and I have a HP printer. Can I still get warranty on that?
And she's like,
No.
you know who she looks like? Wendy from Mindhunter.
Whoa, yeah. I mean, an older version.
That's who she reminds me of.
I could see her being a little dykey.
Remember in the hotel? Carly.
Yeah.
Broke her neck in the elevator. Carly Fiorina. Oh, shit, she looked.
Yeah, and she had her goons around her.
She was surrounded. Like, she's staying in the same hotel we are.
For some context, Zach and I's old venture, Mornings with Millennials, are...
It wasn't for us.
Piss poor attempt at being political. Zach, rather cleverly, got us press credentials to the Freedom Works conference, I guess you would call it that.
Mm-hmm. Where candidates were going to be at to speak.
Every single candidate except Trump
showed. He was invited. That's when he was all like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got in there, and that was fun. That felt like Wild West journalism. That's when we thought, like, we're in it. We're the new young bucks on the conservative scene, and we were pretty blatantly conservative, probably to an annoying degree.
Oh, yeah.
We weren't fair and balanced.
Yo, how great was that day when I was making those calls, and I was like, dude... Remember?
I didn't believe it. I'm like, this isn't really gonna happen,
dude. Because what happened? All right, let's just recall as much as we can. Because this was an epic story. Because I was like, oh yeah, we were talking about affording tickets.
Well, it all
started when I went to the one here and met Glenn Beck.
Right, and then you sent me, dude. There's one in Cedar Rapids. We should go as press. And initially,
I didn't have that idea at first, though.
You didn't? You just wanted us to go and be renegades?
Yeah, I just said, let's just go and be renegades. And then you're like, we're like, how are we going to, like, we're just going to be in the stands. And remember, we were trying to think of a plan. And that's when I said, what if because we already had the podcast as an idea. Like, we were already doing that. And that's when I was like, what if we submit as media? Like, we're media. And you were like, okay.
I was skeptical at first. I didn't think we would be able to. My idea of media is CNN and Fox News. I didn't think we'd be able to get in there.
Oh, and we had the same necklace they did. And that's when I was like, I found the thing on the website, and it was a number. I called a number, and it was DC. I called a number, and little secretary answered like, hello, it's Freedom. And I'm just like, hey, Zach Brown, Mornings with Millennials. Yeah, listen, so we're coming up to the event. We're got flights booked. We're just calling to get our media passes settled. Who do I need to talk to make sure this is all solidified?
Sounding official as
and she's
fuck.
like, oh, okay.
Yes,
his name's
right away.
His name's Jason Pye. I thought it was Ty. Jason Ty. And we're he's actually out of Atlanta. I'll forward you to his number. And she went to go transfer me, and she came back. She's like, actually, he's just left. Do you want to leave a message? And I was like, nah, don't worry about it. And I was like about to say no. And the last time I was like, actually, no, put me through. I'll leave a message. And she's like, okay, I'll go ahead and put you through.
I remember this now.
Yeah, puts me through. And at this point, I'm like, fuck, he's really out of the office. Hello, just bye. Oh! Hey, Zack and Jared Millennials. Really here to talk about, to get media pass more. He's like, oh, yeah. No, we do that. Who do you say you're with? Mornings with Millennials. We're an online site. We got a podcast. He's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, no, we can... yeah, I was just getting ready to head out. I was like, yeah, long days. I get it. Yeah, I know. And he's just like, all right, so just go ahead and send me your, your stuff, link to your stuff, and I'll go ahead and get you guys put on the list, blah, blah, and then this and that, and then I'll let you know. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So I hang up. I'm like, yo, I just talked to the dude. I'm like, we're in. I'm like, he's going to put us on the list. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm in the parking lot of LA Fitness, was going to work out, haven't left the car. I've been in the car for like 30 minutes. And so that was that. We're like, oh my God, we've done it. Day goes by.
I felt so fucking cool. I still feel it was cool.
Remember, we didn't get a response right away.
No.
Day went by, another day. Whole week went by, nothing.
The event was about a month out?
And then at this point, we were determining, do we buy plane tickets?
Right. And
that's what
expensive.
Was the next, and they were expensive. And we're like, shit. And we're like, all right, this is what we'll do. I'll send one email, and I'll tell them that we already booked the flights to make it. That's what the next method was. Put some pressure on, like, we're coming either way. So I sent it, and then he wrote back the next day, like, yeah, you guys are all good. And that's it. Left it at that. I'm like, he said we're all good. Let's go. Pulled the trigger, went, and sure as shit, we went to the sign-in table, and they were there, and we were on the list. And we checked in right next to MSNBC and their big old camera luggage.
They had all
ready. Sorts of stuff.
I've got the lanyard somewhere.
I kept mine too.
It's in my closet.
Oh yeah, I kept mine too.
That whole, what was it, 72 hours we were there?
Yeah, we were there for like 2 nights.
Yeah. The night before, I remember we stayed at a La Quinta.
La Quinta.
And
it was freezing up there, I remember.
In Orlando, we stayed at a La Quinta.
Oh, yeah, that's right, before we left.
And I had stripped a Black and Mild and puffed it full of weed. Yeah. It was cold in Orlando, too, because it was...
Yeah, this was wintertime, January, I think.
And chiefed a whole Black and Mild full of weed. And then we went to Denny's, and I reeked. I kept the roach in my pocket, which was a dumbass idea. And you're like, dude, you reek. You fucking reek. I don't know. You don't like weed.
No.
I don't think you smoked it. I kept offering because I didn't want to be high by myself. And had Denny's, went the next day. I remember feeling official as fuck walking through the airport. Like, but yeah, we get to the sign-in desk, sign up. Then we kind of feel a little lost. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where we go. And I don't know if we had met Jason Pye like in a meet and greet. I know when we did meet him and when we became cool with him.
He kind of gave us the rundown.
So he came to us and was like, hey, here's what's going on.
Yeah, and I thought he thought we were cool. Like, that's why I think he stuck around us a little
Seth
bit.
Seth Rogen looking guy.
Yeah. But do you remember I remember what happened. So we get signed in, we get our lanyards, we like go up the escalator. There's like mad people there, like all official.
That's a big ass conference center.
There was like people
in Cedar Rapids,
up.
Iowa, by the way.
Yeah, people were meeting up and talking, and we're just kind of like, do we like
tons of people
go
there.
around and ask questions? And then remember they were getting ready to let us all in, and remember we had to get bomb sniffed.
Yes.
All our shit. We had to get.
We
bomb
left our
sniffed.
shit in there.
Yeah, we had to leave all our stuff.
Right.
And
the
so
dogs,
Secret Service could come through and check all the media's equipment.
I was worried about, am I going to reek of weed?
Yeah.
I didn't bring any.
Right. And I was just like, oh, damn. Because at the time, Carson and Trump were polling so high, they had Secret Service already. so that
I'm sure they had
so
them
they
there
wouldn't
for
get fucking
everybody
killed.
at that event too. Yeah.
And so anyway, they had to because we couldn't get in yet. They were like sealing everything. That's what it was. No one was allowed.
That took
in
a long time
because people weren't there. It was just staff members and
Yeah,
we were
that
fishing.
felt cool, too.
Yeah, like no guests were here.
And we set up back there, and then we moved.
Yeah, I remember like, no, let's move closer. Mm-hmm. And we moved closer, and we had like our little mics. We're like T-shirts trying to like sell shit. And then, and then it just kicked off, and we're just like, what do we do? And like, oh no, the Reverend sat down with us at one point.
Yeah, Jason Pye, the organizer of this Freedom Works thing, was nice enough to set us up an interview with this Reverend to talk about prison reform. Cut to Zach and I the night before. Didn't sleep a wink. Won't tell you how. A lot of coffee. And
Oh yeah.
a lot of good coffee. And we're Googling, what is prison reform? I didn't even know what it meant. And we sit down with him. I've got like a bullshit tape recorder I'm holding in his face.
And we're just
he was nice.
He was cool. He knew we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, and he was cool to
wise.
us.
He could just read right through. He's
Yeah.
like, these motherfuckers.
I
How'd they
forget
even get
his
in
name.
here?
I want to remember it. But he
I
was a
know.
very cool guy. I'd vote for him if he went for anything.
I know.
I guess. And yeah, sitting in the press gaggle.
Yeah, and I remember that's when like you could hear everyone like da 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 da, like they're going like
Everyone
around the
ran
corner.
there.
They ran there. We're like, oh shit.
Well, and we were getting the lay of the land as we were, as the event progressed. Because
Transpired.
we
We were
missed
kind of
Ted
figuring out.
Cruz.
Mm-hmm. We were in the back.
We missed a lot of people.
Wiggled our way to the front for Carson.
Carson, we waited there.
We waited
We missed
there.
a lot of the conference just to wait for Carson. I think he was on stage and then came back.
And then we saw Fiorina.
I got somewhat close to her.
Yeah.
And I asked
well,
her.
enough to ask her a question.
I got too
That's
cocky.
cringe.
Yeah. Because I remember after I asked my Ben Carson question, Jason Pye went up to me. He was like, good question, dude. And like everyone, like I was getting pats on the back. I'm like, sure. Because I really didn't think I was going to ask. And I was just.
Well, because everyone else was trying to get him.
Yeah.
And you were the only one that like made the event look good and he could shine for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Everyone, it was all gotcha shit. And you could tell he just had like a look of like, okay, I'll end it on this.
Because like when you asked it, he was like, that's a great question. I'd love to answer.
Oh, something
and
productive?
he like moved in up to you like, okay, so.
Yeah, because I don't even think, was Fox News there? I'm sure they had coverage of it.
I think the biggest one was MSNBC.
Probably a local Fox station. Yeah, and that, whatever her name was.
I forget her name, Callie or something weird.
Who
And then-
cares?
Yeah, it was bizarre. And then I remember after that there was protests going on. Remember those trucks that had the LEDs?
Yeah, they
They
were
were driving around.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Driving
also
around all night.
All night. They were just driving around. And I remember it was tension because people didn't know if Trump would show or not show. And I guess they were ready to receive him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Jason
Pye was
kept
like,
saying,
he kept saying like he was invited, but he's being spiteful, and we don't know if he's gonna come or not, but he might. He left it in the air. I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
that's very Trump. And
Yeah.
we kept
I
thinking,
guarantee you that Freedom Works. They don't need me, and I don't need them.
they're liars.
They're liars. All of those Marco Little Hands Rubio.
Was he there?
I don't even fucking remember. I think so.
I think everybody except him
Except
was there.
him was there. And he's like,
I don't need him.
I don't need him. I don't need him. I don't need him. What do they do? Pick the corn out in Iowa? I don't need to go there.
I love corn.
I love corn.
It's my favorite vegetable.
But I can tell you right now, I don't get it from Iowa. Oh, God.
And then here's arguably the coolest part was running in to Jason Pye, the organizer, on the street.
Vaping up a storm.
And then
And then we sat with that dude, Andrew Wilco
at
from...
night, I remember this now. We met them
Sirius
outside
at the
lobby.
restaurant.
Yeah. And they were
Did
like,
we like eat with them? What was going on?
I don't know if we ate with them. We hung out with them for a bit. We
We were
walked
like those
with them.
stage 5 clingers trying to like network.
Yeah. And here it's like 30 degrees out. I've got, first of all, our attire to the thing. Zach was dressed presentable. You had a sport coat, our Mornings with Millennial shirt, and some jeans and dress shoes.
Yeah, you had like booty shorts on.
I had these length shorts, but in bright red.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
a t-shirt. And everyone was looking at me like, this is what you're wearing? And I thought, this is how I'm going to stand out.
Yeah, I remember that.
You'll remember me.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that. And I'm sure that's the only time Ben Carson's been asked a political question by a man in little red shorts.
They're like, what pool are you lifeguarding today, son?
That's what it looked like.
And then remember, we couldn't sleep because we were riding such a high. And then remember, we went up to the dude, the president. What was his name? Remember in the lobby, the front, tall guy with the glasses, and we're like, this is our shot. We wouldn't remember, what's his name? And we sent him a text. We got his number.
I remember this. I don't.
And we sent the text, and he like never answered.
No.
Ever. Never once answered.
That was his fucking business phone, probably. He's like, these fucking losers. I got a phone for people like you.
I know. And then to top it all off, we went to that bar way late, remember?
Yes, and you were feeling on some females. I remember I was drunk, sitting in the corner. I remember I just was pounding beer, and I'm just like watching shit go down.
You saved me from the Goonies monster.
Oh no! How did I forget about her? She followed us back to the hotel, Zach, and you were like, you were not in your right mind. Let the record show, Zach Roundy was inebriated.
No, I was plastered. I was gone.
And I had to like steal your phone from you because you're like, I remember you got up and you texted her like, what room are you in? Shit like that. She came to the hotel.
I'm going out there. You're like, no.
Bro, I remember that. Hey,
I'm glad, but nothing happened because we just stayed.
All women are beautiful in their own way. However, there's a reason that bar was dimly lit. Bro, I saw her in good lighting. What'd you call her? The Goonies monster? Sloth? Yeah, you guys.
It's terrible.
It is terrible.
Oh, God.
But I don't think she was a good person.
I had beer goggles on, 100%.
Whiskey
We were there
glasses.
till the very end. And then we had some other dude, like, it was
We were hanging out
birthday.
with them.
Yeah, it was like
out
his-
front.
Yeah, and we're talking about, there was a football game that night.
Yeah.
There was a football game.
We were drunk as shit, dude.
It was so much going on.
But not so drunk to not remember it.
Well, I mean, I remember pieces. I don't remember the whole night at that bar.
I don't remember losing pieces of it. I remember that was like the first time I think I took a Jaeger bomb and pounding beers. And that's the only time I've ever been in like a super crowded bar, like a college bar like that. I've never, and people are dancing, just going nuts. I lost you. I for sure lost you. Well, I left you because in the dimly lit bar, I thought I was like, ooh, a sexy redhead. Good for you, Zach.
Oh, God, dude.
The vaguest memory, I feel like she was wearing white.
I can't remember.
I feel like she was. And dude, you gave her, I don't know if you gave her the room number or you gave her a wrong room number, but she came to the hotel. I know that. You're like, we're at the Embassy Suites.
I got liquor and beer.
Bro,
Yeah, dude, that was good. That was saved. You saved me there. Oh, my God. That was crazy.
You probably needed me many other nights to save you, pal.
Yeah, that was nuts, dude. That was nuts. Oh, man. You know, and we had the whole city. Like, we didn't drive or anything, but, like, we scoured the whole downtown. Like, we were walking around during the day. I remember at one point, like, we were walking with Jason Pike, like, midday. What were we doing? Like, where were we going?
No, we went and got a sandwich.
And then we saw them. We're like, oh, hey. Like, joined
Yeah.
them. And he's like, oh, shit.
He was like, I felt the attitude of like, come on. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, he whipped out that cloud maker. And that's when I was just like,
Yeah.
hey.
He vapes? You tapped me on the shoulder. He vapes. We're in. And then we'd walk in front of him.
like, hey.
Yeah,
So,
but
like-
we had our little vuses.
Yeah, we had the fuses. He had like a mod.
Yeah, he had
And
a
we're
big
like,
one.
so what do you think about FDA regulation on these, man? Are you
Did we
against
ask
it?
him about that?
I can't remember, but I think we talked about that at
I
some
think
point.
so. Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe they're trying to do that, man. Libertarian life. Don't touch anything in my life.
That whole trip was the same feeling I want to get back to. Obviously, I know we can't live in the past of like, man, Iowa was the days. But just that renegade, Wild West, junkyard dog, scrapping it out type of feeling. Like, we don't give a fuck if you don't want us here. We're here. that was when I really felt a part of something. That's one of the happier moments in my life, just feeling like I'm doing something.
Oh yeah, man. We were in the field. It was like, this is it.
Yeah.
If we just had more direction and like clarity, because we wanted the extra stuff before the clarity. Like, no, we got to be at the biggest events and
we wanted fame.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to myself and say I don't want to be recognized off this. And even more so than recognition, I want to make my living doing this. And it's encouraging to have people reach out and say like, hey, I do enjoy it, because I get in my head like, is it good? And I don't want to pander to audiences and say, and manipulate what we do and talk about in order to get viewership. It's a fine line you walk. I want to stick to us doing whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, this time we just have to be unapologetically ourselves.
Right.
Because before we were trying to like, we were faking until we made it. Like we weren't living out truth.
Yeah, I really miss that feeling of dedicating myself to it, like I'm a part of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in a precarious position now because I've got a wife and a house I've got to uphold. I can't just be like, and I'm on house arrest, but take that out of the picture. I can't just say, fuck it, I'm going to Iowa or wherever.
Yeah, there's a thought process now and decisions that have to be made.
And that's difficult. And the selfish little kid in me instantly says like, I don't like this. But I have to weigh the good with the bad. And I'm in a blessed position where you're willing to travel to me for the foreseeable future, and we're able to do this. And I am already seeing a response from people, and it is encouraging. And I can slowly feel that renegade feeling come back. I can already feel the Get Better Collective working, because we are doing what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it, and not giving a fuck who hears it or how they perceive it. I hope some journalist, whoever, blogger picks up one of our things and talks about how awful we are.
I mean, shoot, guys,
I'd
we
love
fuck.
that.
They had an article come up and like they mined out a racist, claimingly racist episode they did, but they came out and apologized about it. But you know but yeah, it's like, yeah, people just, hey man, if they're talking, that means something's going on.
Yeah. Did you see? Have you seen the new Dave Chappelle special?
No, I want to watch it. I might watch that tonight, actually, when I go to bed.
There's moments of it that are hilarious. But the thing with Chappelle...
It's a stand-up special, right?
Yes. There are other moments where you might not laugh, but it's just so good. And sometimes the things are just so clever and so well written and perfectly crafted that you just have to sit back. You might, like I said, you're not going to be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. There's parts where you definitely will. He's just an innately, funny guy. But there's some parts that you just lean back and say, shit, I got to give it to him. That was good.
Really?
I heard somebody, not about the Chappelle special, describe it once, like your tone of voice determines how good something was. Like, ask me how this vape is.
How's that vape?
It's good. Now say, how's this water?
How's that water?
It's good. See, that's when you can tell something.
Yeah, because like think about it. It's like, yeah, because like let me think. Like for instance, like the Tom, Like, I'm trying to think of specials. Maybe I can compare this to that. I'm like, no, it was good. Like, that's how I felt about Tony Baker. I was pleasantly surprised afterwards. Like, no, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think about Tom Segura. No, it was funny. Like, it's really good. Chris D'Elia, I think he's funny as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it was good. Like, I don't know. I know what you're saying. Like, there's different degrees of like. I mean, sure, you can like all of them, but like. That's what I've heard. It's masterful. This thing.
He
heard that no one's safe.
No, he is the definition of unapologetic comedy. Some people say like, "Oh, he's brash and bold." No, you're nothing compared to what he is doing. I'm not going to give any of his bits because I want you to be surprised by him. But the stark contrast, I don't know if you saw this. At first, Rotten Tomatoes, an institution I used to respect.
It's been infiltrated.
I still look.
I do too.
I'm curious. I'm like, what did it get on RT? Certified Fresh?
Certified Fresh? Gotta see it.
They initially only opened up his reviews to like 5 publications. Couldn't tell you what they were. Wired, probably a bunch of bullshit. The Guardian.
God, I fucking hate all those.
It got a 0%. And the world lost its mind. This is when it first came out. They might have had a pre-screening for people, reviewers.
Mm-hmm.
Then they decided, and it was closed to the public. Then they decided to open it up to not only the public, but other reviewers. At that point, the critic reviews jumped up to, I think, in the 20s or 30s. Still very low. The audience review, 99%. Might as well be 100.
Right.
There's probably some critic who went in there as an audience reviewer.
Right. And like, I'm not going to allow this.
On the flip side, I don't know if you've heard about this. I've seen a little bit of it. I think last year there's this comedian woman, Australian, Hannah Gadsby, who put out a Netflix special called Nanette. I didn't watch enough of it to understand what Nanette was. It might be her mom's name. Who knows? It's not a stand-up comedy special. It's labeled as one, but it's like a TED Talk. Her goal is like anti-comedy. She's like, the old paradigms we have of comedy where you laugh are done. So it's a comedy special that's comprised of non-comedy. It's a TED Talk. She's talking about like sexual assault and all the classic left talking points. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Rotten Tomatoes. Critic review, 100%. Audience, like 20 to 30.
Dude, that's trash. Why? What is that? I got to look into this. This is ridiculous.
At what point?
The old paradigms of comedy. We don't laugh anymore.
Oh, it's...
The new comedy stand-up.
That's why you need to look up that guy I told you about, Andrew Scholes. He is a Chappelle disciple. I'll say that. He does completely his own thing. Nobody is safe. And he just put out a special, only crowd work. On the same day Chappelle put out his special. At the beginning, they have him talking to his boy. It does seem like organic because he'll do these vlogs and stuff. He's killing the internet. Done 2 Rogan appearances. But in this special in particular, there's something else I'll tell you about in a second. He's acting like he's doing a vlog intro, and then his boy starts watching something on his phone. He's like, bro, come on. He's like, oh, sorry, man. Hey, Chappelle's putting out a special. No. And he's like, oh, yeah, cool. And they're kind of talking for a bit. And he's like, you should do a special. He's like, I don't really have the material. And like, I'm working on stuff. He's like, I don't know. Just do what you do. Go fuck around with the crowd. He's like, a special of all crowd work? And he's like, that's stupid. And then his friend's like, no, do it. He's like, I don't know. We'll see. And he gets up, walks, and then that starts the special. I don't know if there was a cut there.
Right.
But it's masterful. It's like 35 minutes of straight just him working with the crowd, and it's some of the funniest shit you've ever seen, all off the dome. So impressive. But where he is changing the comedy game, and he's relatively small. He went from Tony Baker level to doing Joe Rogan, and now he's graduating. Rogan is the new Tonight Show for comedians, for anybody,
for
really.
a lot of people.
Now, what he did...
Which is dope.
Oh, it's amazing. The power of podcasts.
Right. What
he did was he filmed a special. It was a cool idea, like filmed a night in New York. He did like 5 sets at 5 different clubs and filmed the cab rides in between. That one didn't do too terribly much. And then his next one, this is where his good idea came in. He called it Views from the Cis, which is a play on Drake's Views from the Six, but like cisgendered.
Mm-hmm.
And every other day, he put out a bit from it free on YouTube. So now it's all up. You could see the whole thing, but he just dropped the whole thing on YouTube every other day, and he'd post like promos, and it's just like 8-minute things. Because think about it. When you watch somebody's special, you'd be like, yeah, it was great. Well, how much did you watch? Like 20, 30 minutes, if it's an hour. We rarely finish comedy specials. I don't know if you're the same way. I don't typically sit down or I lose interest. If I do power through and finish it,
right,
I lose interest. So he kind of hacked the formula, posted it on YouTube because he said, I don't need money from a Netflix special. I want you to come to my show. And that has completely worked for him, is just putting out this free content, which is a similar type of thing I'd like to follow, is just inundate free content. John Bellion, our boy.
Dude, Wiz Khalifa, when he started free content.
All these free albums, and then it pays off for you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way to go. Some people start out by, you got to pay for my podcast. I'm not paying for your fucking podcast, dude.
No.
I'm paying to listen to you talk. I can talk. It's the same type of deal with like Howard Stern. Yes, he is the king. He's great at it. He's super entertaining. The paywall fucks with his viewership, and
well, he got to a point before he went over anyway, so he was good.
Oh, I understand. Howard Stern is the anomaly. I'll say that. Point being, though, I know a lot of different people that are like, yeah, my podcasts are $1 an episode. I'm like, well, what do you... I don't ask them that, but I look up and I'm like, I don't know these people. I look and I'm like, well, what do you do? And it's this.
150 episodes later, $150, Jesus.
And it wouldn't even.
I guess it's whoever bought it, but yeah, no.
The idea of paying for things is going so far out of everybody's head. Obviously, you have to pay for things. And what's going to be interesting coming up here, that was on the podcast that got away, which we can touch on here, is what is Netflix and all these streaming services, what are they going to do now that everybody, Disney, Warner Brothers, NBC, everybody's pulling their shit from these major platforms and starting their own streaming service? I'm not going to pay for all those streaming services. Most likely, and I don't know if everybody will follow suit with this, I'm just going to keep Netflix and Hulu.
Yeah,
and I
well,
get free Amazon Prime.
Disney owns Hulu now.
But are they going to keep their stuff on Hulu?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how it's going to go. Tony Baker's special you can buy on Amazon, I'm pretty sure.
Amazon just got into the comedy special game with
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan, an original. They have comedy specials on there that you can purchase, but his was the first Amazon-produced special.
Really?
And the thing with Amazon, they don't fucking need the money.
No, he's
So
the wealthiest man in the world.
So they have to really want to get in that game. And from what I hear from other comedians, it's a good thing because Netflix really has the monopoly on comedy specials.
Right.
I think this time next year, you won't be seeing people dropping their specials solely on Netflix. You'll get the smaller time comedians of the world, but
Which it might be good for people trying to come up.
yeah, but we're in this time where very soon Netflix is going to no longer be king, and that's not just with comedy specials, that's with shows, everything.
Oh, we're on the cusp.
It's a very interesting time because cable somehow is still around, I think only by way of sports.
And you can still tune into sports on your streaming services.
I know. What I think they should do, I don't know if they can. I went on Amazon because I want to watch. We have cable. We upgraded our internet. They gave us free cable. I'm like, I'll take it if it's free. I wish you could, for $2.99, buy an individual game. I just want to buy the Packers versus the Bears.
Right.
I don't want to buy the
And
NFL.
I'll follow the rest online and look at who won.
Yeah, I don't want to buy the NFL package. I think they'd sell a hell of a lot more if you could buy whatever individual
Games that you wanted.
Now, they might run into a logistical problem with that, with rights and everything, like who's filming that, who gets the money. I don't know if that'd be too expensive for Amazon or Hulu to buy all the individual rights to stream that, or if they just paid the NFL like a flat rate. That would be so much more convenient and I think more lucrative for them is if you could just a la carte buy what you want.
Right.
I mean, you can do it with movies. You can do it with episodes of TV shows. If you just wanted that one episode of The Office on Amazon right now, you could go and buy it.
Yeah.
For $1.99.
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't follow it too hard to really, because I only have the one. I just have Netflix. That's all I got. So, and I'm not watching that much to begin with, so I haven't really dabbled into anything else, you know? I'm just curious to see. I want to see the landscape 3 years from now. See what's gone. Something's going to bite the dust.
We have Hulu, and we underutilize Hulu. Hulu is good.
We use Hulu a lot because we watch The Handmaid's Tale.
I thought you just had Netflix.
Oh, well, Sky has a Hulu account. I just have Netflix. But she has a Hulu account, so we do watch Hulu sometimes.
The Handmaid's Tale, my wife and I had to stop because of how disturbing it got.
It's dark.
I forget what it was. Spoiler alert, as I'm trying to jog my memory. It was, careful with that.
Sorry.
I think it was the end of season 1, maybe somewhere in season 2. Oh, spoiler alert. Did they sew someone's vagina shut?
No, they chopped her clit off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when Alexis was like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
It's a gnarly show. It is gnarly, but Elizabeth Moss is a good actress.
Excellent.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel you. I don't blame you. We borderline are like, oh God.
And that show came out, I want to say, started before the Trump presidency.
Yeah, that show. I mean, we're in season 5 or something.
Yeah, I want to look make sure of that. Because I remember thinking like, oh, this is just like they're trying to paint a picture of what we could.
It's based on a book.
Yeah.
It was already like a story.
Yeah. When did it come
By the
out?
way, if we ever allowed that to happen, how dumb can we be?
I don't know if we'd ever get to a point like that.
There's no way. There's no way.
I can't see it. We need a producer to
I know, to be like,
look
insert
things up for us. Original air date. Come on.
Yeah, find that.
2017. Wow, I was wrong.
Oh, okay. So 3.
But you're right. It was based off a book from
Right.
1985, it said. Back to what I was saying. I just had to say that about The Handmaid's Tale because we had to stop it. I agree with you. I'm very curious to see what the landscape of streaming will be soon. It's just so fascinating, I think, to watch all these changes happening. And we are truly, I believe, living in the most innovative time on Earth. Our lifetime. I agree, the invention of the wheel, the phone, whatever.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Think about how much we've skyrocketed since the invention of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
In the 50 years of computer and technology, probably is longer. The amount of growth in the last 50 years compared to the last 150, or the 50 before that, we'll just keep it simple like that, is exponential. And it's just only going to keep going. And
Shit's gonna get weird.
AI, man. We've covered AI a lot. We don't have to dive too deep into it, but
You know,
Ex Machina.
Great movie. I'm completely shifting gears here.
Okay.
But I've been going down YouTube rabbit holes lately with my new favorite genre, public freakouts.
That's always a good rabbit hole to go down.
I know. And I was watching some of the videos, and it's quite remarkable to see, because I've watched a bunch at this point, to see how far we are and how normal it is to whip out your phone and start recording.
It's an instinct now.
It's insane. Like, some of this shit I can't believe they have on tape. But like, it's an instinct. You're right.
It's instinctual to the point of like putting your hands up when you're getting hit.
Yeah.
For some people.
It's crazy.
Not so much for me. I get mad that I miss certain moments. And I guess I should be proud of that fact that I don't reach for my phone all the time.
Right. And like, some of this stuff, and I'm like, dude, I tell you what, these videos show the nastiest shit in people sometimes. And but it's crazy to me. So I'm like, and that just goes to show what you were saying as far as like where we're at and like the advancements, and like this is like a fifth limb at this point, you know. And you're right, it is instinct. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I get a kick out of it. People are idiots. People are so dumb. Some of these people are fucking imbeciles when I watch these videos. But damn, they're quick to pull that phone out.
That's most of the shit I like or follow on Instagram is fails, people getting hurt. I follow a page that's pretty controversial when people want to take it down. It's never that bad. It's called Kids Getting Hurt.
Holy shit.
It's pretty fucked, but it's one of the greatest pages on Instagram. I will say that.
Is it just kids like wrecking and...
A lot of, yeah, what I see a lot of is kids, like toddlers playing with their dad with a big inflatable ball, and they kick it and the kid just and flies back. I'll probably take some shit for talking about it. They take a lot of shit. They post like you need to take this page down. I'll murder you in your sleep. but
Dude.
it's so funny.
There's one that's pretty. You probably have seen this one. It's where the kid's like in the room
And he gets against the closet.
against the window. Dude.
The noise he makes. And then it just cuts off right there at the perfect time. I could watch that on a loop. It's hilarious.
It's like slow-mo. It's like the ball just boom, like the air.
The thing about those, though, on Instagram, they have to be okay for you to post it.
But they had the warning now. This is sensitive viewership.
Yeah, but they still had to live.
Oh, they have to live.
Mm-hmm.
God.
There's a guy, a UFC fighter, Derek Lewis. I'll send you his Instagram. Don't get the hiccups now. And he, in my opinion, has the best Instagram of all time.
Oh, shit.
He like people getting run over by buses, all this stuff, and his new like line of captioning is always "He's okay, she's okay." It's hilarious,
Dude, you called me morbid for watching the video of the dude fall off the crane.
Ooh.
Have you seen that one?
No, but he dies.
Yes. It's bad.
Some of them I can't watch.
It's this one's tough. He's like on this crane, and he is up there, and then at one point he just lets his feet go, and he's like dangling with just his arms, and there's like 6 people watching, and then he just lets go, and he's just like.
Does he do it on purpose, you think?
It says some people are saying it is. I think it was on purpose. I'm not sure because he's so casual up there. He's like monkey bars. Like he doesn't give a damn.
He didn't yell out like, "Oh shit!"
No, it wasn't making any noise.
Was he Russian?
I don't know.
Probably.
And this was in the United States. I'm pretty sure. Huh? And he falls, and he was falling like back first, and he starts moving, and then he's going down, face down, arms out, and he hits this bridge thing that's like maybe 20 feet above the ground below. I mean, it was far down, and it looks like a railroad like station because it like there's a bench and people were like right there, and he hits like there's a fence and there's this flat part and then a drop off to the ground below, and this is like the top of the bridge. He falls from the crane, he lands right in the crevice on the side, and the sound is so disturbing. It's like
I can't.
It's like
that.
it's like a smack and like
I can't.
like a huge smack and like all the bones breaking and like a mist of blood,
bro,
and lifeless.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And then a dude watched, like there's like people like 15, 20 feet away, and like the dude had a skateboard and he like threw his hands up there and like was like freaking out and like ran away. I mean, the video's still on YouTube, but I can't believe they let that shit up.
I don't think it's YouTube, dude. There's no way.
That's where I found it.
Are you sure?
I'll show it to you right now.
I don't need to see that. I don't want to see it.
But that was gnarly. It reminds me of the one of the dude when he's on top of the train.
Unless that's somehow totally phony. That can't stay on YouTube. It'd be gone.
It's up there still. You can still watch it. Unless it's fake.
I'm shocked at what they can do fake-wise now.
Because if that's fake, I'm like, damn, that's good. Like, what do they have, controls? But I don't think it's fake. And then there was another one. You've seen, this one's older. The dude on top of the train, like an electrical pulse train.
No, you told me about this.
And they're all like, get down, like, come on. And he like is not getting down. And then he grabs the freaking cable and just fried immediately. No. And just, I mean, it's just crazy. Some of these videos.
I can't handle shit like that.
You know which ones I don't like that freak me out and give me the heebie-jeebies? Big machinery fails. Because there's something about big machinery I don't like. I don't like being near it. Like one of my nightmare situations.
Define big machinery. What?
Okay, I fall off an oil rig and I'm in the water and I'm bouncing against one of the beams that goes down a mile to the floor and like drills, and I don't like that.
So you don't consider a forklift big machinery?
That doesn't scare me that much. No, I'm talking big machinery.
Okay,
I'm talking big, like ships malfunctioning, like ships that like overshoot the dock and like
seeing some
huge
of those,
loud noises.
Oof.
Like or like front loader cranes or construction scoopers
Tipping.
like on a mountaintop. Like I saw one so high up, and he just
Someone in there?
I don't know, and it kept going, and the sound was echoing from the gorge. And it's
Oh,
like,
no.
and it's like it just kept going. It's like gone. You can't even see, and it's still rolling down. And I'm like, dude, can you imagine just be chilling? You look behind you, dude. Like that's terrifying.
Yeah. At our landfill, we had, when I was doing community service, they're always up there with the bulldozers.
Yeah, like exactly.
And they're going like this sometimes. When we got back once, it was toppled and
Oh, really?
no one
Toppled
was, like
over?
it must have happened earlier in the
While
day.
they
but
shut it down
was
or
just,
something?
Yeah, it was just on the. No, someone might have been in it. I'm just
Right.
saying it
Oh, I
was.
see what you're
it was
saying.
on its side, looked like all battered up. You could see the path, but I mean, I wasn't there when there was ambulances or anything.
Right.
No, that's pretty scary.
I know. It's gnarly.
Well, I'm gonna get you home.
What time is it?
7.
All right.
Back from Hurricane Dorian.
Yeah, back from Hurricane Dorian, and
Next week we will have our esteemed guest,
Mr. Whalen.
Mr. Stephen Whalen, our
He's going to
African.
talk about his future endeavors, becoming a pilot, all sorts of stuff. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, very cool episode. But once again, thank you for coming.
All right, man. No problem.
Yeah.